Royal family, welcome to my channel. My name is the Pick a Card Empress, and today we are asking about your person's thoughts and feelings for you. And in the extended, we're going to look at their thoughts and feelings for the third party, if there is a third party connected to your connection. Now we have 3 piles today, as we usually do. Don't worry about the shaking. I'll put on a tripod after. I'm just giving you the overhead view. The first pile is a kind of sunburst brooch and the chrysalis tarot. The second pile is the star child tarot and that flower. And the third pile is the muse tarot and that kind of topazy looking thingy brooch. All right, so do your thing. I'm going to come back and show you the boxes because sometimes that helps people pick their pile. I'll see you in a bit. Hey guys, as I mentioned previously, today we are looking at your person's thoughts and feelings for you. Okay, now the first pile, this is the chrysalis tarot and this brooch. The second pile is the star child tarot and this brooch. And the third pile is the muse tarot and this brooch. Okay, so do your thing, pick your pile, and I'm going to be back in a jiff with your reading. Hey, pile 1, if you chose the chrysalis tarot and that kind of gold starburst brooch, this is going to be your reading. So I'm going to start the reading as I usually do, just setting the framework for the reading by tapping into your person's energy. First, we're going to look at their energy generally. That's our control card. And then we're going to look at their energy towards you. And when we do that, we know that they're feeling this towards you only and not just their general mood, right? That's why we have the control card. Their energy generally is death, okay? So this is about transformation. It's about the ending of the old, moving out of the old, and the new coming in. And you know, that's what a tide symbolizes every minute of every day. It's about new coming out with the old, in with the new, out with the old. That's the ebb and flow of life. And this is where they're at right now, right? They're at the shoreline, the ebb and flow of life. Now, this is a card number 46, right? And card number 46 reduced to 10, and that talks about endings. But 10 also reduces to 1, which talks about beginning. So that's that same ebb and flow energy that your person is experiencing right now. So big shifts in their life, a lot of things, very fluid, and it feels like their timelines you're not yet cemented. So what that tells me, this is the energy of chaos, and chaos has always been kind of looked at with a side eye, but chaos signals opportunity, because for all foundations are dug up, things are not just settled. So that means anything is possible. Anything is possible. So instead of looking at that chaos energy with horror, what one should really do is embrace that chaos energy and use it to manifest whatever they want to manifest. And it feels like that's where your person may be at. All right, so they're there in this chaos energy. What are they doing about it? Well, they're creating. That's exactly what I said. They are creating. They are in this creative process. And what are they creating? Well, out of a toxic situation, we have card number 15, which is the devil. They're creating beauty, they're creating joy, they're creating love, because 15 also reduced to 6, which is the lover. So out of this chaos energy, they are grounding something new. Now, they could be creating a new reality for themselves. Some of them may be creating children. Some of them may be, well, it says creative projects. So there's something that they have always had in their heart, and they're finally grounding it, for finding the time to work on it. But either way, they are not just there sitting on their laurels and bemoaning their fate. They are working with that chaos energy, just like we said. They're working with it. All right, I don't have control over this, so I'm just going to work with it. I'm going to work with it. Now let's see their energy towards you. This is the Chakra Wisdom Oracle cards. We have perfection. Now, the reason why they're working so hard is that this person feels challenged by your energy. They see you as perfection, a perfected work. However you may feel about yourself, they see you as a perfected work, and they want to be on your level. They don't want to feel like a bystander or a supporting character in your movie. They want to be your co-star, right? Right, and not an extra. And they're working hard to get to your level, especially spiritually. Look at all the energy they're coming towards her throat, well, all over really, right? Whatever you touch, it blooms, right? You are the Empress. Look at her, hands full of the goodness of the earth. So they see you as a perfected work. Energy towards you. Oh, they feel rejected. Because they feel your rejection. Now, it could be something that you did or something that you didn't do, right? But either way, the signal that this person is receiving, and this could be all in their mind, or this could be actuality. The signal they are receiving is that you don't want them anymore. So what has this done? This has triggered all their fears, all their insecurities, all their feelings of I'm not good enough. And that is why they are trying to be as perfect as they perceive you to be. They're working so hard. They're working so hard right now. Okay, they're trying to be like you because this rejection has triggered all their old abandonment wounds, all their old feelings of feeling not good enough. Everything, every insecurity that they have ever had about themselves is being triggered by this perceived rejection that they have going on. All these old ghosts from the past have raised their head. Let's pull some cards on this, guys. And let's see if there are any other messages, but I think this is exactly what it is. So they're tapping into their creative energy, harnessing that energy of chaos. But that drive that they have, it's being fueled by their need to perfect themselves. I'm not saying it's an overcompensation on their part. I think they're really working on themselves, but there's a lot of insecurities that's also propelling this creative drive as well, right? So love and the fear. All right, underneath the deck we have the Magician in reverse. Okay, so what I get from that, we're dealing with a person who has always felt very disempowered, right? And the genesis of that is not their fault. I feel these ghosts of the past that we're seeing here, these are family members, right? Talking all kind of shit into their head, right? So now that they've been criticized their whole life, they have this very overactive inner critic that's always talking about how inferior they are, and they're trying to silence those voices. I don't know how successful they've been. All right, we have the Emperor in reverse. Yes, as I said, has always felt disempowered. We have Temperance in reverse. And because of that, they've always been very unstable, right? So for some of you, you may find this person maybe very jealous, easily prone to anger or angry outbursts. But it all comes from this insecurity that they've always had. But they're trying not to go down that road anymore. We have Page of Swords in reverse. And the Page of Swords in reverse is a child whose truth was questioned, who was never allowed to be their authentic self. Their authentic self was never good enough, right? And that's where that whole inner critic comes from. So this is them trying to create something different, undo the pain and the damage that was done in the past and create a new foundation for themselves. Now they're feeling your rejection, whether it's by something that you did or did not do. And we have here 3 of Wands in reverse. It feels like you got frustrated with all their procrastination and maybe you walked away or you told them off, right? And this has triggered a big healing cycle for your person. Now, they see you as a star. They see you as a cut above the rest. And they don't feel like they can measure up. We have 10 of Cups in reverse. Now, your person may have always lived with some sort of, well, it could be a kind of low-grade depression, or maybe a kind of high-functioning depression. And it feels like their perceived rejection, yes, their perceived rejection by you has triggered up all this old trauma from the past and triggered this big healing cycle. Now, I feel like in the past, their go-to would have been just kind of shut this down. But this is not what I'm seeing right now. I think this person is working with this energy and they're dealing with their stuff. Now, when they think about you and they think about this connection, where is their mind at? We have the Queen of Cups in reverse. They feel like they lost you. You're gone. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. That you're no longer investing in them. Not even a pentacle. 6 of Cups. They see you as a soulmate. And they want this reunion here. Page of Wands. But they feel like a page. Right? You are a whole queen that left them behind. And they are a page with nothing to offer except this goat that they own. So they feel whatever they are, whatever they have, or should I say whoever they are, and whatever they have is not good enough to offer the queen. That's basically what they're saying. In their heart, they want this reunion. In their heart, they want this love, but the ghost of the past is still speaking loudly in this person's head. And what it's telling them is that they're not good enough. That they have nothing to offer. 7 of Pentacles in reverse. What are you going to give the queen? So for some of them, they may be rising to the challenge, and that's why they're working so hard on their creative projects, because they feel like through that, they're going to create something that you will accept. But for others, they are in the energy of self-defeat. They feel they have nothing to give, whether materially or otherwise. Let's look at their heart space energy for you. Let's see what's in their heart, because their mind is moving over time. What's in their heart space? What's in their heart space? I mean, we see that they care about you. They're very affected by what they think is you moving on. But some of them are down in the dumps. Yeah, when they look at you, they think that you've withdrawn from this connection, and it's making them withdraw too. Their heart space energy for you. We have empathetic, okay? So I think even though you guys may be apart, they're feeling you on a very deep spiritual and emotional level. I think because you may have pulled back your energy, they're finally able to step into your shoes and understand how challenging it may have been to be in a relationship or in connection with them. Because it feels like their heart was closed. It feels like they kept pushing you away. Right? And no matter how much you knocked on that door, you felt like you were knocking your head on a brick wall. And maybe you may have thought that you weren't good enough, but it was never that. It was this person keeping you at a distance because they felt that they could not rise up to your level. What else are they feeling? Yeah, they definitely are. The depression is there. Okay? And as I said, it's triggering really old wounds. Things that they've not looked at, things that they've resisted looking at, right? And they feel guilty about how they treated you. Because you only acted out of love for them, but they weren't willing or they weren't ready to receive. And look, they're here in the energy of shy, but this shy feels like embarrassed. Let's pull some cards and let's see what's going on. That shy feels like when you want the world to swallow you whole. Let's see, empathetic. We have the Page of Pentacles. So they see how much you are a friend to them, right? Because this is a friendship card. They see how much you reached out to them and they were just there monkeying around. And they regret that now. They feel guilty about that. They took your energy and your friendship and your love for granted. And they're really affected by that. They're in the energy of sad. Hermit in reverse. Yeah, kind of beating themselves up, right? Kind of distancing themselves from everybody right now. But that's their modus operandi anyways, right? And then we have Three of Swords in reverse, recognizing that in order to prevent this from happening in the future, they have to heal their heart. They have to feel good about themselves. Now they feel guilty. Why? We have Ten of Swords in reverse, because they hurt you. In trying to push you away and trying to keep you at a distance, they really, really hurt you. And for some of you, it was some deep betrayal, because Ten of Swords in reverse talks about that pain that does not go away. And they hurt the person that they love the most. We have the Lovers. So look at them here. Five of Pentacles. Feeling abandoned, feeling alone, but also feeling very shitty. And recognizing that they chased you away. Now they're shy. We have the Two of Wands in reverse. They don't even know what to do right now. Okay? They know they have to do something different. We have the Seven of Wands in reverse, but they feel broken. They feel broken by this. And I feel like, you see this rejection of what's happening in this card? I feel like this might be some sort of ego death. So they are deep in depression right now. What it has done is heighten their creative process, their creative juices. But at the same time, they're really beating themselves up over how they treated you in the past. Because whatever is unfolding in their life right now, they're recognizing that at base, at least you were a true friend to them. They can't say that about a lot of people that currently occupy their life. Now, let's get some 3D messages from your person, and then we're going to get some messages from their higher self. 3D messages from your person. What do they want you to know right now? What do they want you to know? Awakening. Yeah. So everything that's happening right now has triggered an awakening in your person, right? And it says both people in this connection are undergoing spiritual transformations. So you may have gone through that transformation portal first, but know that your person was right behind. Okay, this is what is happening with them right now. So what do they want you to know? An external party is intruding on this relationship, and it says here interference. Okay, so if you felt like there were people, external parties that were running interference in this connection, that were in your person's ear and were discouraging them from taking a chance on you, taking a chance on this relationship, this is confirmation. And even now, it looks like this person or these people, because even now it looks like people are in your person's ear, right? Both the ghosts of the past, and it looks like from what your person's saying, embodied people as well. So people still trying to interfere. We have protected. You are safe and divinely guided. But they want you to know that these people won't succeed this time, because this time your person has discernment. And whatever these people are telling them about you and this connection, it's going in one ear and out the next. What else does your person want you to know? Financial challenges are affecting this connection. Your person sees you as very astute in terms of business and the material world. And they see you as actualized in the material world and very abundant. They don't feel the same about themselves, and they don't want to be any sort of leech on your resources. And I think that's why they're working so hard. Not just to overcompensate for whatever insecurities they may have. I'm certainly thinking that is playing into it too. But they want to be your equal in every way. And I don't get this is a spirit of competition. This person just wants to feel whole and like an equal partner, because I feel like in their past relationships, they may have gone into those relationships with a lot of insecurities, being grateful that this person was with them, and may have overextended themselves in order to compensate for any sort of perceived weaknesses. They don't want to do that in this relationship. They want to feel like an equal to you. And they have a weight. So this person's trying to prevent you from moving on. It says the timing is not quite right. So it looks like they want more time. And we see it here, definitely. But there's no telling how much time they would need. And what can happen in that time. Nothing is guaranteed. So just make sure that you are living and enjoying your life to the fullest. To the fullest. And that you don't look back on this time with regret, because you're going to resent your person. Now let's get some messages from your person's higher self. What does their higher self want you to know, right? Your person, they learned to shut people out from very early. And they had to, in order to survive their abusive family members. The card number 5. Card number 5 is a Hierophant, and that talks about our family of origin and all the things that we downloaded there, or programming. And what they downloaded about relationships is that relationships are toxic. So that's why they've always kept their partners at arm's length. Okay? And that's where they learned to block out the world. So whatever your person did to you, don't take it personally. This is what they needed to do to survive. And somehow they still thought that they needed to be in survival mode. And when they met you, they felt threatened. So their higher self wants you to understand why they are the way they are. They've always felt small. And I feel like they've never gotten the kind of attention that they needed to get from their parents. You saw those parents, right? They're always arguing, always at each other's throats. So they're more wrapped up in themselves than in the child that was in their presence. So they may have even had big custody battles, that kind of thing. And the child is there just a token, a pawn, being used by these parents to hurt each other. So your person learned to be on their own, right? To be self-sustaining. They know how to be alone. They're comfortable being alone because nobody can hurt them there. So whilst they're very independent, they're in the shadow end of that, which is hyper independence. And that's why they were blocking you out. But Spirit is letting you know that at this time, they're trying to transmute that pain into something beautiful. And they are still determined to enjoy their life and turn things around. Right? And turn things around. That is what they're doing or committed to doing right now. They're not going to let their past destroy them and destroy their relationships. So in the extended, we're going to basically do this, use the same format for the karmic energy. But if you can't join me in the extended, let me get some advice from your spirit guides. What do your spirit guides think you should be doing at this time? We have judgment, and it says higher self. Spirit saying rely on your own intuition, right? Trust your own judgment, because so far it has and is serving you well, right? So what Spirit thinks you should be doing right now, Spirit is saying you should be tapping into your own creativity and taking advantage of the chaos energy that is all around right now. So there's some new ideas that they are already sending to you that's going to bring you good luck, and it's going to make your career or going to make some kind of project take off, right? So your person, they're dipping into their creativity. Spirit is telling you to do the same. You can create the life that you want, right? That's what Spirit wants you to know. So this chaos energy, Spirit is saying it's there for you too. Okay? All right, my love, thank you so much for watching. Can I ask you, please, can you subscribe to the channel? That will be very helpful. If you can put a comment down below, it can be a full stop and emoji. And you can even dislike the video, because that also helps with the algorithm. I thank you so much for your energy. Take care. Bye. Hey, pal, too, if you chose a chat, tongue-tied, somebody's tongue-tied. If you choose the Star Child Tarot, this is going to be your reading. Okay, so let's see who's tongue-tied here. Somebody doesn't know what to say. All right, so let's begin as we usually do. Let us get a significator for your person's energy generally, and we use that as the control card. And then we're going to look at their energy towards you specifically. All right, the energy generally. Pile number 2, energy generally. We have the Raven, and he's the messenger. It says magic, coincidence, synchronistic events. All right, so your person is looking at everything from a higher perspective, but through the eyes of the mystic. And they are seeing that everything is connected. That's a message that they're downloading. Everything is connected, and that everything that has happened has purpose. I think there are supernatural events happening in their life where they can't deny the reality of what is happening to them. It's just too much coming all at once. So they might be seeing like recurring numbers, repeated signs, might be having paranormal experiences with spirit. They may find that right now it's easy for them to manifest. They may be drawn to the esoteric. I might be doing some sort of research right now on the esoteric arts. But this is them in the energy of, I was going to say spiritual awakening, but I heard spiritual renaissance. There you go. Maybe your person's very literary. Maybe they're drawn to the written word or even the performed word, right? Maybe maybe there needs to be a literature student or something like that, right? Anyway, we have their energy right now is a goblin, and it says the wounded human ego. Okay, so definitely the energy of the ego death. Okay, so we're dealing with someone that used to have I say used to have because I don't think that spiritual renaissance and that raven card is there for nothing. Who used to have a massive ego. Okay, I don't know. I'm logging into the word wounded. And I'm feeling maybe somebody who uh those those professions where people often say they have a God complex. So and I'm not insulting anyone, okay? I didn't say, right? I didn't say that. I'm talking about research. Okay? I have a God complex and they tend to have narcissistic tendencies. They're not narcissists, but they can have narcissistic tendencies because they deal or they have the power of a life and death in their hands all day, every day. So we are talking about persons, service persons, especially persons in the army who have seen some sort of combat. I'm not insulting you. I'm just letting the research know. Doctors, particularly surgeons and neurosurgeons, lawyers, pilots, um, who else? Who else would fall into that category according to the research? But those, especially lawyers and pilots, who else would fit into that category? I can't think about the other occupations right now, but you get it, right? Um, they literally hold people's lives in their hands every day. And after a while, that can really mess you up and really skew how you view yourself, how you view the world. So when it comes now to your interactions with your interpersonal relationships, rejections or perceived rejections, abandonment or perceived abandonments hit these people really hard, or any kind of challenges in love hit these people really hard because who wouldn't want to be with a god or goddess, right? That is the attitude. You rejecting me, you're rejecting me, right? That's the kind of attitude that they would have because they've never faced this before. They've been able to convince themselves that they are a god, they are above other people. So to have a pleb like you, viewer, putting them in their place or rejecting what they have presented to you is really going to screw with this person's sense of self, because their sense of self is intrinsically tied to the job that they perform. It does not come from within their own essence and an appreciation of who they are and their intrinsic value. Okay? And of course, not every person in those professions are like that, especially those who have had some sort of spiritual intervention, right? Or awakening, right? Let's see the energy towards you. Gossip, you had the talk of the town, girl, guy, they, right? People are talking about you. People are talking about people, but talking about you. And there's someone that's very jealous of you and your shine. Now, this certainly, it could be a person, right? Because you have bruised their ego, right? So they could be gossiping about you. They could be trash talking you at this time. They could be complaining to other people about you. How dare they? Me? Reject me? Right? So they could be doing that as well. All right, the energy towards you is balance, right? So it feels like they needed that little rock off their high horse, that little rock off their pedestal, and to bring them back down to earth, right? So whatever you did, it feels to this person, it's allowing them to create balance within that psyche, okay, and bring them back down to earth to a more grounded place, okay? to bring them back to their humanity. Because sometimes when you're in these jobs and you're so accustomed to being a god or a goddess, you forget what it's like to be human. You forget what it's like to be down there, needing help, feeling vulnerable, right? So it feels like you gave them the reality check that they needed. And because of this, they are bringing their life back into balance. They can really truly see themselves and how their ego has fooled them into thinking that they were better than everybody else. Okay. Now, this person has on a white coat here. So, definitely think that some of you guys might be dealing with a medical doctor. For others of you guys, I don't know what you guys call them in your culture. In my culture, we call them like a saga boy or a dandy, right? Um, and it's someone that I won't call them vain, but very kind of peacocky. Let's call it like a peacock, right? Always preening, right? Yeah, preening. Yeah, always preening. Because they need that sort of attention, and they always get that sort of attention. And it feels like your disregard or you turning your back on them, because it looks like you have, has given this person a reality check. So let's pull some cards on this and let's see if there are any further messages. But that's what I get. I think you bruised this person's ego and you catalyzed an ego death and a spiritual renaissance for this person. That's what I get. They thought they were a god. That needed to be worshipped. We have the Tower in reverse. So this person resisted looking at themselves for a long time, but I think that you brought that tower down. All right, so let's go. We have the wounded human ego. We have the 9 of Swords. Right, and what that ego was protecting was a lot of insecurities and fears that your person had, right? But now that it's crumbling and that wall has come down, they have no choice but to face that right now. We have a Queen of Pentacles in reverse. You've removed yourself. It feels like from this person's energy, and that's what's causing this. Now, I feel like for some of you guys, you guys are getting help, right? There might be a third party connected to your connection, because in my readings, all reverse court cards are karmic energies. Okay, so there's someone that might be giving you some assistance in breaking that ego, and especially if you're dealing with one of those God complex people. Not only that, now the Queen of Pentacles is also an energy, not just a person. It's also an energy, and it is the energy of avarice. Nothing is ever enough, especially when it comes to the material world. It is the energy of possessiveness. It is the energy of jealousy, and jealousy always comes from a place of feeling inferior. So this whole God complex that you encountered and this bravado was just the outer coating for the very soft shelter. And they're showing me, those Ferrero Rocher chocolates. So you have this kind of tough outer coating, right? Hard not to crack. It's kind of nutty, right? But in the center, they're soft like jelly, right? So that outer coating, that big ego that you encounter was just hiding the vulnerabilities that they had deep within. Okay, so you've triggered this person to bring themselves back in the balance. Hey, come down from there, right? Come down from that pedestal, right? 3 of Cups in reverse, and you are forcing them to face their pain and their dissatisfaction with life, because to everybody else, they are on top of the world, but they don't feel like that. They don't feel happy. In fact, they feel like they are not in control. We have the Emperor in reverse. And that's why they try to take control, especially in their profession. And they've chosen a profession where they are in control. But it is the only sphere of their life where they have control. And maybe total control. I mean, control over life and death. It doesn't get more total than that. So you've made them face why, the core reason why they are the way that they are. Now, when your person thinks about you and they think about this connection, what is in their mind? How are they processing this mentally? We have the Queen of Cups. Oh, they are in love and they perceive you as love. They see you as just giving. But you know what? You're giving, but you don't allow anyone to take advantage of you because they see that you also have claws. Look, that big cat energy there, right? You also have claws, right? So as loving as you are, right, you're not going to tolerate nonsense from anyone. And they appreciate and they admire that, okay? We have the Sun card in reverse. When they think about you, they feel weak. They feel vulnerable. And they also see that they're not happy with the life that they have created right now. They think that they would be much happier with you in it. Now they're also seen as the Queen of Swords, and it's that same energy with that cat lying, that big cat lying next to this woman here. Do not mess. You're not to be messed with, right? You don't need a big ego to protect yourself. You have your words and you are not to be messed with. You are going to use the truth to put people in their place. They see you as someone that's incredibly authentic as well. In a world that's full of fake and filters, they see you as the real deal. And they want to experience what it's like to be in a relationship with you, the Ace of Cups, okay? Some of you, you've been in a relationship or in connection with this person before, and it wasn't great, right? Because remember, you were required to worship. And Queen of Swords and Queen of Cups, they do not worship, right? So it might have been quite rocky, right? But now that they are changing and they're creating balance, they want an opportunity to be in this loving relationship with you, where there is equal sharing, where there's equal give and take, where they are respected. Well, can even get that out. Where they are respected, and not feared or worshipped. They want your respect. They want your love. They want your regard. Let's see the heart space energy for you. Heart space energy. When they think about you, what's going on in their heart space? What do they feel there? We have manipulative. Okay. So they could be thinking that you are trying to manipulate them with your actions. But remember, they are the master manipulator. So basically, they're just projecting everything onto you. Okay? Because they're feeling hurt. Their ego has been bruised. All right. So what's in their heart space? They feel guilty. This came out in Power 1. For their feelings. They feel guilty about how they treated you. They were operating from their shadow. They were operating from their ego. And you faced the brunt of that shadow energy. And they see now how unfair they were to you. How are they feeling? I'll pull cards and see if there's anything else they're guilty about. Yeah, remorseful, regret. They regret how they behaved. they regret. I think it's the same thing. Feeling embarrassed, feeling ashamed because this person wasn't seeing things clearly, right? Remember that there's a different view that you get when you're looking from up here and you're feeling like you're high above everybody else. And then when you're down here and you're seeing everything else as it is, and you're an ordinary human being like everybody else, right? So you brought this person down to earth, and now they're getting a different perspective on everything that happened. And I think they're crippled by the shame of it all. For some of you, this person can't even face you right now. Yeah, feeling pathetic. So I wouldn't say there's a pity party. It could be part pity party, but this is them really beating themselves up for who they were in the past. And they're yearning to be close to you. They're yearning to have the kind of attention that they enjoyed from you before. But it feels like right now they're facing the vacuum, they're facing the void. Now, Spirit, they feel guilty. Tell us about what? But I do think it's how they treated you. We have the Three of Wands in reverse, and that talks about being hasty and being frustrated, being impatient. And then we have the Star Seed card in reverse. Okay, so they're feeling guilty that they didn't recognize the light and the love that you were bringing into their life. Okay, I think this person did not think that you were genuine with your intentions towards them. Right? They thought that you were like them. Right? They thought that you were trying to manipulate them. They thought that you were wearing a mask. You were just putting on a show. Okay? They couldn't see who you were. Right? And they feel guilty about walking away from you, but also mistreating you in the process. And they're remorseful. We have the Six of Wands because they were all up in their ego. Some of them chasing this one and that one, hoping that it will take them to the promised land. Right? Ace of Wands, right? Thinking about only that sacral chakra and not recognizing the soul contract that existed between you guys. Yeah, their eyes were closed. Their eyes were covered by the scales of the ego, right? So they could not see you. So they're just sitting there in their shame and in their embarrassment. We have here the Five of Swords because they played so much mind games that in the end, they basically play themselves and they feel absolutely pathetic. Something turned over here. Yeah. They want to move this connection forward, but they don't even know how right now because they are drowning in the shame of it all. We have the Four of Pentacles here, holding on to that shame too. And they just can't shake it off. They just can't shake that shame off. And they're yearning to, be in your favor, your regard, but you're not even taking them on right now. You're not even taking them on. Nine of Wands, and they feel like you've put up some sort of blockade against them and that you are not interested in anything they have to say. Let's get some messages from your person's 3D self. Okay? So they did the most, and now that they've come back down to earth, gotten off of their high horse, knocked off of their high horse by you, they're regretting the loss of what they had or what you guys had. Okay. Need I say more? Someone feels remorseful. We have it all on the table already for the way that they treated you. And that is the crux of the matter. Right? A lot of regret here. Now it says, put the computer away. Working less and having more fun will help strengthen your relationship. So they wish that they had spent more time with you, learning about you instead of focusing on overachieving or focusing on being the best at their job. We have awakening. Both people in this connection are undergoing spiritual transformations, definitely. So they're confirming for you that they are going through this awakening process and that they have been through that ego death. They are longing for you, and we have the yearning card right there. Someone is secretly, and they actually use the words yearning for you. Okay, so we're just getting confirmations of everything that came out before. Okay, so you left this person in a lurch, and now they don't even know how to surmount the obstacles to come back into your life. It says unhealed wounds are blocking forward movement, and that those unhealed wounds created so much dense energy in the past. Like they're trying, because they're showing me this person like trying to fight their way back to you, but it's through a massive thick fog, and that's the negative energy that they generated there, right? So they see that it's going to be a struggle to get back to you, to get back into your good books, but it feels like they might be up to the task, right? If only they could shake off the shame. Now, let's get a message from your person's higher self. What does their higher self want you to know at this time? Birth. Your person's wishing for a new beginning. Okay. In this connection, they wish that you guys could start over. Right? Yeah. This is where they want to be. Right? They want things to be good between you guys again. Right? They want to feel that energy. They want to feel that love. And they're hoping that they can get some kind of grace, some kind of miracle from the universe in order to come back into your life. But the guilt and the shame has them locked. And that's one thing that shame can do, and guilt can do. It can just make you feel really locked into that energy, and that there's no way out, there's no coming back, and it's a very low vibration. When we look on the emotional spiral scale, shame is just right down there, just before suicidal ideation. It is such a dense and low vibrating energy. We have perfect immunity. Okay, so your person, they're getting grounded. Okay, they're trying to get their life into balance, their health, their physical health, their emotional health. They're trying to repair some of their other relationships, as well. But this is a work that they need to do, in order to prevent themselves from going back the same route that they took before. Okay, so building up their immunity to being egotistical. That's what I get with that. In the extended, we're going to use basically the same format for the third party or karmic relationship. And then we're going to look at your person's next actions towards you within a month of you watching this reading. But if you're not able to join me in the extended, let me ask your spirit guides what they want you to do at this time. What does your spirit guides want you to do? And we have a life force, and we have Aphrodite. So they want you to put your sexy energy out there. Put your life force energy out there. Show the world who you are, because you are an empress. And the world needs that grounding, beautiful, loving energy at this time. All the loving energy that we can get. Okay? Spirit saying you lead the way. And you lead the way by example. So put your beautiful energy out there. But this also talks about, you lead the way in your relationship and partnership, because you are the way shower, right? You are shining the light. You are carving that path for others to follow, right? Your person and even the karmic energy. So Spirit saying you got to keep moving. The minute you stop going up that ladder there, everything grounds to a halt, does it not? So Spirit saying keep on moving forward. Don't stop. Don't wait for this person. Keep on moving forward. Enjoy your life. Okay? All right, my love. So that was your reading. I hope that was helpful. Can I ask you to like this video and please subscribe to the channel? If you're able to put a comment down below, and it could be an emoji or full stop, it helps the channel grow, and I thank you so much for it. And it's a beautiful energy exchange because everything needs to be in balance, right? We give, we take, we give, we take, we give, we take. All right? I'm in love. Take care. Bye. Hey, part 3, welcome to your reading. So if you chose this topaz, sapphire, whatever you want to call it, and the Muse Tarot, this is going to be your reading. So today, as I said before, we're asking about your person's thoughts and feelings for you. We're going to get some 3D messages from your person. We're going to get some messages from their higher self. And then we're going to get messages from your spirit guides as to what you need to do next in this situation. In the extended, we're basically going to use the same format for the third party, if there's a third party attached to your connection. And then we're going to look at what's going to be this person's next actions towards you within a month of you watching this reading. Okay, so let's begin. And we begin as we begin all other readings by starting with a control card, their energy generally. So that when we ask about their energy specific to you, we know it's not just a spin-off from what they're feeling in general. It's really specific to you. All right, underneath the deck, we have burdened. So this is how they feel generally. And look, they're waving that white flag. They're almost ready to surrender here. Okay. They have been bogged down with a lot of stuff. And it feels like a lot of things surrounding their family. Their trees in this photo and family. And trees always remind me of family, ancestors, that kind of thing. Now, they could be bogged down in ancestral programming, in generational curses, toxic habits and patterns. Okay. And there's something coming through here about either some programming related to rage, and also some programming related to one's sexuality that they are also carrying the burden of for their ancestry. Now, there's a card number 43, and 43 is the 7, and 7 is a chariot where we are moving forward. Both everything in us is united, our heart and mind or soul, everything is united in one decision. And once we're united in one decision, we move that chariot forward, right? And all life starts to progress and you rejoin the flow of life. So it feels like this is them releasing control, and maybe that's why we're seeing that white flag of surrender, and moving into wherever the vibration takes them right now. Okay, into the flow of life, right? And out of whatever's had them bogged down or stagnant. Okay. The energy generally. Yeah, right? Facing the truth. And then we have more stream or river energy here. And the truth that is setting them free because they're using that truth as their compass. Look at the symbol on top here, right? So they're using the truth as their compass, and they're using their heart as their compass. There's a lot of green in this card. And they're moving with the vibration of love, which is a vibration of the universe, and so it is a vibration of truth. This is a card number 51. 51 reduces 6, which is love, right? But 51 is also the vibration of 5, which is our spiritual lessons, and the vibration of 1, which is new beginnings and mastering yourself. So your person has been through an incredibly tough time, right? But out of that, they have mastered themselves. They have moved into self-love. And this is why life is finally moving forward for this person. Now, let's see the energy towards you. The energy that's specific towards you. I'm still going to pull some cards and these just in case Spirit has other messages, but that's what I'm getting right now. Your person has shifted into the most authentic version of themselves, their most authentic thoughts and feelings, and this is what they're using as their guide, and that's what they're using in their decision making. Their energy towards you, you are their soulmate, right? Everything in them thinks about you. Everything reminds them of you. Okay. And their intuition is guiding them towards you as well, right? We have acceptance. I feel like this person tried to fight it. They try to fight what they're feeling, because maybe there was something about you that didn't quite fit the perfect image that they had of their life. Okay. But now that they may have tried every which way to sabotage this connection, to sabotage you, to hide their feelings, to repress their feelings, to keep their feelings compartmentalized and separate from the rest of their life, they're accepting, we belong together. This is where they're at. We belong together, right? They may have been trying to turn all the cherries that life was giving them into lemonade to make into lemons to make lemonade. But like, you know what? Life is giving me cherries. I really prefer lemons, but life is giving me cherries, and I'm gonna work with it. In fact, I love cherries. I just remembered I love cherries. So this is them recognizing that everyone is not perfect. They're not perfect. Life is not perfect. And you just have to move with what your heart is telling you. So I think you are an integral part of their life, but they tried to cut you out. They may have tried to have their cake and eat it too. There is that. Okay. But now they're accepting, they're not going to get rid of you. They're not going to get rid of their feelings. So they might as well try to integrate it into their life. All right, let's clarify with the tarot and see if there's any other messages that are coming through for you today. Underneath the deck, 10 of Cups in reverse. They're not happy. But 10 of Cups in reverse can also talk about family dysfunction, family karma, family trauma. Okay? And this is them moving into their wholeness out of all this dysfunction. So your person's done a ton of work just to be in this position where they're in this process of transformation. They've done a ton of work because they've come from, to say humble beginnings would be an understatement. This is very difficult circumstances. All right, so let's see the truth. We have the 8 of Swords. Okay, so your person's been stuck for a long time. Okay, stuck in their own thoughts, their own programming, their own self-limitations, their own dysfunctional narrative of how their life should look like, what they need to be doing, who they need to be, and all these things, all these ideas are things that they inherited from their family members, right? But now they are tapping into their own truth, their own selves. They've been doing the work, and this is them emerging as who they are, and they're using that who they are now that they know themselves. Now that they've been true to themselves, they're using that to path a more authentic, to chart, sorry, a more authentic path forward. Now the energy towards you, they see you as their soulmate, and they accept that. Okay. And you have been an inspiration to this person, right? Because you've accepted yourself. We have the Six of Swords in reverse. They're in a lot of pain, and they're in a lot of pain because they recognize the pain that they have caused you by trying to excise you or exorcise you, both words, out of their life, right? They try to cut you out. They try to make you somebody that they used to know. Because when my mother said they try to cut you out, I heard that sound. You didn't have to cut me off, right? Yeah, they try to cut you off and try to make you into somebody that they used to know, but it never went away. It never went away, and now they are here in this Knight of Pentacles. I'm finally willing to put in the work in this relationship because they see the value of you. Of you, yeah. They try to make you into somebody that they used to know. My God. All right. When they think about you and they think about this connection, where is their mind at? Besides this acceptance, where's their mind at? We have the Hanged Man. Illumination and enlightenment. Finally seeing things clearly. Okay. We have the Ace of Swords in reverse. And what they're seeing clearly is how they lied to themselves. Now, once you start lying to yourself, then you're basically lying to everybody else, right? And that's what they're doing. I think they got to a point where they convinced themselves that they didn't care about you and that you didn't matter. But they see now it was all a lie. It was all a lie. Two of Swords in reverse, they see that clearly now. Because Two of Swords in reverse, for me, goes to the Ace of Swords. They see that clearly now. They were living a lie. Hanging on to some sort of ideology by a thread. Right? When all they ever wanted was you. Now, this is the Empress in reverse. All this is happening. This surrender, this awakening, this self-mastery, this moving forward, this acceptance, all this is happening because they truly believe that they've lost you. And there's some people who need to feel your absence in order to appreciate who you were, right? Especially a lot of avoidant personalities. It's only when you give them that space that they feel safe enough to dig deep into their heart space and acknowledge the truth of who they are and acknowledge the truth of their feelings. Because as long as you are around, they feel your love like a bombardment of energy, and actually pushes them away, right? It makes them feel threatened. Because somewhere in their childhood, love was a threat, love was a burden, love was an obligation. And they may even be living that in their current life. So to have you now is to them, it's just another person that they have to consider. They don't see love as freedom. They see love as attachment. Yeah. And they see love as a trap. So as long as you're around, that's kind of bombarding them. They're playing defense. They just have their shield up 24/0. Right? I'm blocking you out. Like, so they feel your love that's coming. Bam! Block you here. Bam! Bam! They're just doing their block game on. But it's only when you retreat. Because they see you as an army. Just because that's what they show me. An army just advancing on them. And they're backing up. Right? You're backing them into a wall. They feel cornered. They feel triggered. But it's only when you retreat and they feel safe, then they're able to really examine their feelings and really examine you, your motivations. But when they're in that corner, they only see you as the enemy. So those avoidants, they need space, right? Loads of space. So sometimes, you can break up, you can disappear, but they only start examining how they feel about it like 3 months to 6 months after. That's like the golden hour. All right, I'm going to take this. They're shocked. We're going to find out what they're shocked at. Maybe they thought that you would never like back off and you'd always be there. Oh, they're shy. Okay. All right, so they're shocked. So we're going to see what they're shocked at. Feeling impatient. They feel like time is running out. And maybe you guys kind of disconnected for a minute by now. So they think that time is running out because now that they're seeing your value, they think that you are going to be snapped up just like that, right? So they feel like they need to get a move on. Heart space energy for you. We have kind. Oh. And I don't know if you guys follow, I think it's the Gottman Institute, and they were talking about one of the most important markers for a healthy relationship and a healthy marriage. And they were tracking all these couples who had long-term, high-quality relationships. So not just long-term and it's just drama, high-term, high-quality relationships, loving relationships. And one of the most important markers is that they treated each other with kindness. No matter what happened in the relationship, they never lost sight of their respect and admiration for this person, and they always treated this person with kindness and tenderness. And this is what they have for you. And they may also see you as kind as well, right? Heart space energy for you. Well, whatever they feel is fit, it's pretty strong, but they do see you as a strong personality, and sometimes that can be intimidating for them. But you can't dial down who you are or mute yourself just to make this person feel comfortable, right? That's their problem. That's their problem, right? It's for them to rise into their power and move forward confidently. But it's not for you to mute yourself. What? Don't dim to fit in? I've always liked that card. It's not for you to dim to fit in. All right, so let's see. They are shocked. Why? Because you are the Queen of Swords, right? They may have tried to make you into somebody that they used to know, but you did it. It looks like you turned your back on them. Bam, cut them off. You didn't have to cut me out, right? Right? So they're the ones singing that song right now, right? So it feels like you cut them off, and they never thought that they would see your back. So now they're impatient, and I feel it's because they think you're going to be snapped up. We have the Ten of Swords. All right. They're impatient because they really hurt you. They don't even know if they can make a comeback right now. Right? Five of Pentacles. They feel abandoned by you. Right? And they think that you already have somebody else in your life, and this cuts them to the quick. And they need to feel this heartbreak for their heart to crack open, because that's one of the ways that the heart cracks open. It's trauma and it's grief. They needed to feel that. They need to feel that. Heart space energy for you is kind. We have the muse of I am. They see you as fully embodied. They think that you're amazing. They don't even see you as fully human. They see you as a god, goddess, right? This divine being. They see you as benevolent. Yeah? Because if you had done half of the things that they did to you, they know that they would be forever in unforgiveness, because they wouldn't be able to extend that sort of grace. They see us so strong, yeah, especially in the material world, right? And I feel that's intimidating to them, but they have to work on themselves, and they're working hard to level up to your power, your level of power, right? They want to be on your level in the game. Now, let's get some 3D messages from your person. What does your person want you to know right now? If they could talk to you, what would be the message? Most important words that they feel that you need to hear. We have different pages. You and this person don't share the same vision. And I think that's exactly what happened, right? Your ideas about life and what happiness should be and what a family should look like, or what a couple should look like. I think that it was really divergent, and maybe you guys were looking for different things. Okay, so you guys weren't on the same page at all. What do they want you to know? Go slow, okay? Take time to get to know each other. Um, and they're showing me like the image of like a rabbit slowly coming out of its burrow after running inside its burrow from danger. The heart is still pounding, but they're coming out because they are curious and they're intrigued by whatever is out there for them. And that's what they want to do. So they want to get to know you again, because you guys are different people now. Both of you have changed. So they want to get to know you again, but they want to go slow because they realize that they are really, um, they're very defensive, um, and they want to work through their triggers, and they feel like if you guys took time to know each other, then they would feel safer about whatever is happening, right? I think they just kind of rush to judge you when you guys first met. We have retreat. Time alone in nature will help you recharge. And I think this is what they're doing. They're recharging. But I feel like it's your retreat that has given them that space to really reflect on their life, themselves, where they want to go, and also um, to take time off for rest as well, to inflame. This is a divine counterpart connection. So they see you as very important to them, and not just on an emotional level. You're not just in their heart space, but spiritually, they've never felt this bond with anyone else. And they may have actually done research on this twin flame phenomenon or soulmate connections, and they are convinced that you are that person to them. We have balance. One person is giving too much in this relationship. They realize that they weren't given their all, right? They weren't given equally to this relationship. They may have been breadcrumbing you, just, giving you enough to stay where you are so that you wouldn't leave them. But at the same time, not choosing you, keeping you at a distance as not to choose you. So they see that now, they realize that they won't fear to you. So when they do come back around, and it looks like they want to come back around, um, they want this balance to be there. And it means that they want to have things to give, and not just material things. And they do want to give that as well, but also of themselves, and to be open um, energetically and emotionally. They want to be able to do that as well. All right. Let's get some messages from your person's higher self. What does your person's higher self think that you need to know right now? Constellation of Shattered Dreams. I think this came out in pile too. It feels like the reason they may have rushed to judgment with you is because they've only ever had toxic relationships. They've only ever known dysfunction from the moment they were a child to all their relationships coming up. There's only been disappointments in love, and that's why they keep themselves kind of aloof, and they try not to get attached because they expect everything to implode and end. What does their higher self want you to know? Yeah, so they've only ever known pain when it comes to love relationships, and they're still holding on to that, right? Still holding on to the past, still holding on to their impressions, especially of their family. This is a card number 23, and 23, it reminds me of DNA, right? So there's that. Um, 23 and me, and it also reminds me 23 reduced to 5, and 5 is about family. It is the Hierophant. It's about foundations, right? So they're still holding on to the past. um they're going through a transformation right now, okay? Bringing themselves back to life. We saw that surrender card where they were kind of half dead, so they've been rejuvenating. Right, in this retreat, we have the retreat card, right? They've been taking care of themselves. Some of them, they may have even landed up in a hospital or jail or something like that. So they're just trying to get their strength back to re-enter the dating ring, I guess. It's something turned over in here. Yeah, creating a sanctuary within themselves instead of trying to seek it outside of themselves. You see, when you create a sanctuary within yourself, no matter what happens and whatever falls through, you know that you're going to be okay. It's not that you're not going to be hurt. You are probably going to be hurt, but you know you're going to survive. Or you're going to be all right. And you're going to thrive. What does this person want you to know? Yeah, again, they want to remind you that they've been through a lot of betrayal, right? And maybe so much so that for some of you, your person's stance when they met you is screw them over before they could screw you over, right? So that's what your person was operating from, you know. It's just a lot of pain, right? And what do hurt people do? Exactly. Exactly. That's what they do. They have nothing else to give but that. All right, what what does spirit want you to do? So we started with truth and we are ending with truth. So spirit is saying your person has figured out what their truth is, right? And how to align themselves, how to most align themselves to the higher self. Spirit wants you to do the same thing, right? Don't focus on this person so much right now. What is your truth? What's your most authentic version of yourself? Spirit saying you focus on aligning with that, and your chariot is also going to move forward. What's the advice from your guides? Partnerships and love. Okay, so just know that spirit is working with you to heal a lot of the relationships in your life, whether it's family members, friends, your inner circle. Okay, this person, right? Spirit is working and bringing healing, helping you to bring healing to yourself and to all those that you love and treasure. Okay, so you're about to enter into a period of your life where you're going to experience abundance. And that's abundance in love, abundance at work, abundance in the material world, um, because you have leveled up. Okay? So if you're able to join me next Sunday, please do. We're going to look at the third party or karmic connection. Otherwise, can I ask you, as an energy exchange, to just subscribe to the channel? That would just be awesome. And again, it continues that flow of abundance, giving and receiving, giving and receiving. Okay, I'm gonna take care.